Chair, Board Member Frida Player-Peters, who will kick us off this evening.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to be back in the chambers. Vice Mayor Schulman, Chair Toombs, Chair Druffel, Finance and Budget and Education Committee members and council members. It's an honor to be here in my new role as Budget and Finance Chair of the Board of Education. I'd like to take this personal privilege to recognize my fellow board colleagues that are here. We have Chair Buggs, Vice Chair of Budget and Finance, Rachel Ann Elrod, and Chair of our Advocacy Committee, Emily Masters. I'm proud to announce yesterday the Board of Education passed our 2021-2022 operating budget. It's the first time in history where our funding of our schools is just at over $1 billion. This was possible due to Mayor Cooper's historic investment in our schools. We continue our continuity of services without any interruptions. We will not have to make any budget reductions to our operating budget. More importantly, due to Mayor Cooper's historic investment, we can directly serve our students by making our teachers the best paid teachers in the state. Thank you. We'll be able to maintain our quality teachers and recruit excellent teachers into our school system. I'd like to thank Dr. Battle for her leadership. She has transformed our approach to our budget process, and she's done this from the very beginning of her tenure. I would also like to thank Mr. Henson and his team for their detailed work on our detailed budget documents, Mr. Clay and Ms. Randolph for their work navigating ESSER fund process with the state and metro governments, and along with their partnership with Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. Robert Fisher in the Mayor's office. Now I'll turn on to Dr. Battle, who will be leading the budget presentation.
Thank you, Board Member Player-Peters, for that introduction and all of the great work you've done leading the board through this year's budget process. And thank you to our other board members who are here tonight. As previously referenced, we have our board chair, Ms. Buggs, our vice chair, Ms. Elrod, and board member, Ms. Masters. The board set its priorities at the outset of the process and unanimously approved the budget that's in front of you tonight. We are all united in support of this budget. Good evening, Chair Toombs, Vice Chair Porterfield, Chair Druffel, Vice Mayor, and council members. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you tonight. We are here to talk about Mayor Cooper's truly historic budget recommendation, and we are so thankful that this city is considering investing the largest amount ever in educating Nashville's students. If you catch me smiling, that's because this has been a good week for Metro Nashville Public Schools. Yesterday, we completed the longest, most unique, most challenging school year any of us can remember. I have been so impressed by the flexibility, the creativity, the tenacity, and the resilience of more than 80,000 students and more than 10,000 teachers, principals, and support staff. They overcame every obstacle that COVID could put in our way. Last night, we also completed the final ceremony of a wonderful graduation season. Our class of 2021 graduates saw both their junior and senior years get thrown off track by the pandemic, but they never gave up on their goals. They just kept working, and they persevered until they reached the finish line. I am so proud of every graduate who has earned a diploma this year, despite everything that didn't go their way. So we come to you during a week when we've seen, once again, the power of education to change lives, to shape futures, and to help young people begin to carve out their path. We believe, actually, we know, that it's our job to ensure every student is known and truly on a path to success. This is why we've created focused outcomes to help keep them on track in literacy, numeracy, attendance, social-emotional learning, and transitions from one level to the next, and eventually into life beyond graduation. But to do this work well, we know that we need to be able to retain and attract the best people. This is why Mayor Cooper's proposal to invest an additional $81 million in Metro schools is so powerful. Most significantly, based on the mayor's recommendation, our teachers will be the highest paid in Tennessee. That takes us from being middle of the pack and behind many of our surrounding counties to being able to recognize the great work of our teachers. The proposed pay plan would overhaul the salary schedule for MNPS certificated staff. Every teacher will get a salary increase, with an average increase of nearly $7,000 based on years of experience and degrees. The plan also includes a step increase for all eligible MNPS employees, and support staff and certificated administrators will receive a 2% cost of living adjustment. This plan will show our teachers and support staff how much we value them in a very tangible way. Again, we will have the best teacher pay in the state of Tennessee. Since the morning when the mayor made his announcement, we've been hearing from teachers that these changes will allow them to make a life-changing impact with these investments. Mayor Cooper's budget plan also includes a significant investment of $2.5 million for advocacy centers. This investment would fund 41 advocacy centers in our elementary schools, which brings us to 55 when we combine efforts with our federal resources. These centers would give our schools another tool for social-emotional learning by offering students places where they can learn nonviolent strategies for calming down and coping with their emotions. When we help address the root cause of student behavior, students attend class more frequently, and teachers are able to focus on instruction. This is another investment with long-term reach. In a major support to our district, Mayor Cooper's budget proposal fully funds the continuity of operations budget. Many times in Nashville's history, the pressure of inflation and inadequate funding from the state have meant that we've had to cut programs to balance the budget. By fully funding the continuity of operations, we are able to maintain our existing levels of service. We want to be growing the services we provide, not cutting, and this budget will let us do that. We're grateful for the mayor's faith in Metro Nashville Public Schools and his willingness to invest in our students and staff. This council and the Board of Education can be proud of how often you met this past year to form a common understanding and vision for education in Nashville. We look forward to building on those conversations and answering any questions you may have. Thank you again for this opportunity to be with you this evening. And now I'll turn it over to our Chief Operating Officer, Chris Henson, who will provide more details about our proposed budget for MNPS.
Thank you, Dr. Battle, and I trust everyone has a copy of the budget document that, as Ms. Player Peters mentioned earlier, was approved last night unanimously by the Board of Education. And I'll just be walking you through some of these documents to give you an overview of what's included. I'll spend most of the time on document number 1, which is the first page past the cover page. Document number 1 is intended to reflect a summary of changes from the current year budget to the proposed budget for fiscal year 2022. At the top, you have employee compensation. We start out with a certificated salary step increase, and what this means is a step increase for our certificated employees on the teacher salary schedule. This would be the cost for a step increase. We also include a certificated administrator step increase and a 2% COLA, 2% cost of living adjustment for our certificated administrators. They were not included in the teacher pay plan study that the mayor commissioned and was conducted. And so we are recommending the same increase as our support employees, the same increase as being proposed for Metro General Government employees. The certificated teacher pay plan, as Dr. Battle mentioned, total estimated cost of just under $44.7 million. You take that number and add that to the certificated salary step increase, and you can see we're looking at approximately $50 million that would go directly to our teachers and to our teacher salary schedule. The next line item would be for our certificated insurance. The certificated insurance is governed by the Employee Insurance Trust, which is made up of 3 school board members and 3 Metro Nashville Education Association representatives. This would reflect the first increase for their insurance in 3 years. They have not had increases the previous 2 years at $8.3 million. There is a very modest increase to the state pension plan, TCRS, as Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, and by law, all certificated employees must be a part of the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, the state retirement plan, at a cost of $93,000. And then for our support employees, as I mentioned, we are having a step increase at $2.7 million, a 2% cost of living adjustment at a little over $3.2 million. And then our support employees are treated the same as Metro general government employees for benefit purposes, and so their benefits are governed by the Metro Employee Benefit Board. And you can see the increases there that the Employee Benefit Board has already approved for both insurance and pension for our support employees. Coming to a subtotal for employee compensation of just under $67.5 million. In the middle part of the page, you have what we call required additions. Many of these are charges that come to us from Metro government or Metro Finance. The first is actually a reduction for Metro IT, the internal service fund for the Metro IT department. There's a slight reduction of about approximately $175,000. A slight increase to radio transmission, again, comes to us from Metro government. The injury on duty for certificated, this is a part of the Employee Insurance Trust. There's an increase there. Also an increase for our support employees, again through the Employee Benefit Board. Building and contents insurance, increase there of approximately $1.3 to $1.4 million. This comes to us from Metro Finance through the insurance division of Metro Legal. And then the property tax refund or the MDHA transfer, we did see a significant decrease in that particular line item for this current fiscal year. There is an increase for next year of a little over $1.1 million. And we have inflationary increases and other required expenditures. These would be things such as automatic increases to certain contracts. We also have a few positions that previously had been funded by a grant where that grant is ending and we want to continue that program. And so we have those costs included here. Our charter schools, they continue to add additional enrollment as several of our charter schools will continue to add an additional grade next year. This is a state statute calculation of state and local revenue per pupil, and that per pupil amount, of course, is going to increase with the increase in our local funding. And again, this is just a calculation of the total per pupil amount of state and local funding based upon the estimated or projected enrollment for our charter schools, a little over $15 million for next year. And our student-based budgeting reductions, our student-based budgets are based upon enrollment projections. And so as you look at enrollment projections this time last year compared to enrollment projections for next year, there is a decline, even though we are projecting increased enrollment over what we currently actually have in this fiscal year or this school year. And so there is a proposal to have a reduction in that student-based budgeting funding allocation based upon projected enrollment next year, getting us to a subtotal for required additions of just under $15 million. Then at the bottom part of the page, as Dr. Battle mentioned, we have social emotional learning, particularly our advocacy centers with our advocacy coaches at $2.5 million. And then next year we are proposing to fund our textbook needs from federal ESSER funding for next year. And so we have zeroed out that particular account in our operating budget, and we'll be meeting those needs next year and possibly even further on into future years with our federal ESSER funding. To get down to the amount that was recommended by the mayor in the mayor's recommended budget, an increase of a little over $81 million, bringing our total operating budget for the first time, as Ms. Player Peters mentioned, over $1 billion, an 8.7% increase. This particular document, again, will be the one that I will reference the most unless there are more detailed questions, but I do want to just walk you through the other documents that are included here. Secondly, document number 2, which is in the top right corner, we always include a document to show proposed position changes. You can see a few of those grant-funded positions that I mentioned where the grant is ending, the I-3 STEM grant, for instance, excuse me, as well as the vast majority of these positions going for our advocacy centers in the form of advocacy coaches and other social and emotional learning positions, totaling a total of 47.5 additional positions. Document number 3 is a landscape format document. This isn't for information only. This shows our 10-month support employee work calendars based upon the different 10-month positions that we have in the school district, based heavily, of course, on the number of student days. We also pay for an additional 16 days, what we call paid time off. This would be for vacation and holidays. Since these positions don't actually earn vacation, they are paid for these days. And then, in addition to that, some additional days for orientation, training, and administrative duties, depending upon the position, to get to the total number of paid days for each of these 10-month support employee positions. The number of total paid days is the same, proposed the same for next year as in the current year. The next document, document number 4, begins a series of documents where we show more detail to some of the accounts in our 26-page line item document. The first is account number 2328 in our line item budget document. These would be for our 4 early learning centers or pre-K centers. We have 4 of those: Ross, Davis, Casa Azafran, and Cambridge. You can see in the far right column, in the totals, the total positions of 85.5 and total dollars of a little over $6.2 million. These totals will match what's in the detailed line item budget for account number 2328. The next document breaks down our 2 alternative learning centers, Johnson and Bass. Again, this is account number 2600. You can see at the top, this just breaks that down into a little more detail. The next document breaks down account number 2650, which would be our non-traditional schools. We have our early college program, our big picture school, the 3 academies, Old Cockrell, Hickory Hollow, and Opry Mills, our virtual school, and then our transitions program. Again, the totals over in the far right column of 91.7 positions and approximately $8.9 million. You'll see that total in account number 2650 in our line item budget. Next, we have our 3 special education centers, which are represented in account number 2810, Cora Howe, Harris Hillman, and Merle. You can see the total number of positions and total budget there. Document number 8 is a breakdown of our 27 district charter schools and what the estimated enrollment is for next year for our charter schools, the estimated per pupil rate, again, which is a state statute mandated calculation of total state and local revenue per pupil. We're estimating that at a little over $12,000 for next year. And then the resulting estimated allocation, funding allocation for each of our charter schools. Far right column shows, by an asterisk, it shows those 3 charter schools that will continue to add a grade next year based upon their approved growth plan. The charter schools at the bottom of the page are state-run schools, either run by the State Board of Education or by the State Achievement School District. You can see from the double asterisk note there that the state allocates this funding directly to these schools prior to dispersing our state BEP funding to the school district, to our school district. And so it's mechanically handled differently, even though the end result is the same. So the schools at the bottom part of the page, the 3 State Board of Education run charter schools and the 2 Achievement School District schools that the state runs, those funds are taken off the top of our state BEP funding and sent directly to those schools as their funding allocation. So we never see that funding, which is different mechanically than the way that the 27 district charter schools are handled, where we do see that funding and it's transferred directly to those charter schools. The next page, document number 9, begins that 26-page detailed line item budget. We've got columns A and B, which show what we use as an account number and an account name. Columns C and D show the current year positions and current year budget. Columns E and F show the proposed position changes and proposed budget dollar changes resulting in columns G and H. And then in column I, we attempt to provide some explanatory remarks, particularly around different types of positions and other non-personnel expenses by these different account numbers. And if you turn with me all the way over to page 26 of this detailed line item budget, you'll see at the bottom it totals the same as what you saw on that document number 1, the summary sheet, current year number of positions, current year budget, the proposed position changes at 47.5, proposed budget increase of a little over $81 million, resulting in the number of positions and budget. And then the next 3 pages are an attempt to help you find, if you can't find what you might be looking for in that 26-page line item budget document, this is sorted alphabetically, and so if you have an idea of what the account name might be, hopefully you can find the account number in that detailed line item budget. And so it's sort of a cheat sheet in a way, and it's the final 3 pages of our operating budget. So with that, I will turn it back over to Budget and Finance Committee Chair. Thank you.
Councilman Druffel.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Appreciate that. Just a couple of general comments. This is my first year as Chair of Education Committee, Dr. Battle, Vice Chair Elrod, and Chair Buggs. Got to tell you, you made us feel part of the team in this process. So we had 3 common meetings. One focused on teachers, one on social emotional learning. I think for me, it gave us a great deal of confidence that you were aligned strategically and felt really good that you kept us as part of that process. So I am very confident in supporting this budget and confident this will create a lot of success. So I'm very excited to be able to carry this forward and really, truly appreciate your leadership. One request and question. As we do move forward, and I know this, it's like we're giving you the money, we want the results now, right? and I recognize that isn't going to happen, but I would like and request that maybe there's a progress report or a set of metrics that you could give us that you feel like is well represented of your success. Maybe in the fall or at some point, I think there's that constant dialogue that would be of value. Again, recognizing this isn't going to turn everything on a dime. It's going to give us a great start to support, but I would request that maybe you come up with maybe some kind of progress report once or twice a year so that as we go into next year's budget and the Education Committee will feel, again, continue aligned with the progress of what you're doing. Again, thanks for getting us involved and appreciate and I really enjoy supporting what you're doing right now. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Suara.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. Battle and everyone. I want to start by thanking you all for what you did this past year for the children. I think that it was a tough year for everyone, but I think you all held it down, and so I want to say thanks for that. I'm grateful to the mayor for also fully funding the budget. I ran on fully funding MNPS, and so I can finally say when he made that announcement, I was like, we got it. So thanks to the mayor for that. I don't want to be greedy because this is a great budget, and it does a lot. But there is something that I'm looking for that I did not see, and that's on the social-emotional learning. On your FY 2022 budget presentation, your aspiration budget presentation, there is a whole lot more than $2.5 million in social-emotional learning. Someone had asked me that they thought that the social-emotional learning was supposed to be $7 million, and the mayor announced $2.5 million. Is the $2.5 million in addition to the 7.5, or is it part of the 7.5, or is it just $2.5 million?
Yeah, it's actually an increase from the current year of $2.5 million, even though we, of course, did have some things already included in the current year budget, but as far as the increase goes for next year, $2.5 million.
Okay. Thank you. So for me, social emotional learning is big. And with the year that we had, I wanted to make sure that we're looking at things that did not get pulled out of that aspirational budget. So I know one of the things that you wanted to do is to reduce your student to counselor ratio. Does this 2.5 allow you to do that?
Specifically, this $2.5 million is a major down payment on us being able to expand our advocacy centers in our elementary schools. So that is the kind of power strategy, if you will, that the $2.5 million proposed investment will do to help us start to create some additional conditions for us to approach our social emotional learning needs of our students.
Yeah, thank you. And I know everybody's so happy with this budget, so I'm not trying to be greedy, like I said, but I want us to get to a point. The student counselor ratio, this advocacy center does not, the 2.5 does not address that specifically. So if you are able to get the money for that, would that be something that you would still welcome? And I say that, again, because the advocacy center is great, and it was asked for, we got it. But there were still some other things, and I'm looking at it from the trauma that all of these children have had to go through this past year. And even before COVID, one of the things that I know from the schools that I visited before running was the trauma that some of these kids are going through. So for me, making sure that that is an area that is fully covered is a personal mission, right? And so the advocacy center is great. It would do a whole lot of what we're saying. But when I look at that social-emotional learning integration, I'm seeing about 14 million in that aspirational budget. But we only got 2.5 million. Right? And so my question is, we won't be able to do 14 million. I get all of that. But if we have to do just the smallest of things to be able to add to that advocacy center, about how much will that be?
So I will address the first part of the question, and Chris, if you have the aspirational budget, we can give the numbers around those additional strategies. So first and foremost, our social-emotional learning expansion of services, including our mental health services, trauma-informed responses for our students, was our board's priority. It was number 2 on the priority list. And as you mentioned, the $2.5 million investment will allow us to expand the advocacy center work in our elementary schools. That means we can staff 41 additional advocacy and our coaches within our schools. It does not touch the strategy around reducing the student to counselor ratio. That number, when you look at that power strategy, it specifically was around $5.2 million to reduce the student to counselor ratio. Now, one of the benefits we did have as we've been leveraging some of our additional funds have been that we have been able to send additional funds to schools, and that is a strategy that we've encouraged them to leverage when they can, when funds allow. But that is one of our priorities. Our school board adopted, meaning that there is a need for us to continue our efforts around reducing the student to counselor ratio. And so the $2.5 million will not be able to accelerate around that strategy, but just simply around the area of expanding our advocacy centers themselves, staffing them, and making sure that the spaces are conducive to the strategies that we want to equip our students with.
Thank you. One last question, and this is on the textbook. I know that in prior year we've always had issues with the textbook that we're using is not enough. We're always behind and all of that, buying one per class and things like that. So when we reduce this, and I know that I was going to ask specifically because I saw the 3.9 reduction, you said we'll be funding it through the federal funding. That's why we did that reduction. Would the federal funding actually allow us to be able to get all the textbooks that we need, or is that just for the 3.9, and is that what we need?
Yeah, what we're planning to do is to use our federal ESSER funding to purchase all of the textbooks that we need for the next year, and it also gives us some more flexibility as it relates to when that might be accomplished, because obviously school starts very soon after the beginning of the fiscal year, and so historically it's been difficult to get the textbooks ordered and in by the time that first student day or first student week, and so we have some flexibility associated with that, but we also have the dollars associated with the awarding of the federal ESSER funds that we can use for that purpose for instructional materials and supplies.
Thank you, Chair.
Dr. Battle, to piggyback on Councilwoman Sarah's question about social emotional learning, will MNPS get any funds from the Mental Health Trust Fund that the governor has set up as part of the state's budget?
We've not received the final details on that, Madam Chair.
Okay. Got Councilwoman Porterfield, then Councilman Cash, then Councilwoman Sepulveda.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for everything that you have done. This is obviously has been the most challenging school year that anyone has had to encounter, but our teachers thrived, the school system thrived, our students thrived, and it was just such an amazing opportunity. So first and foremost, thank you all. And Dr. Battle, thank you just for your steady hand and your leadership. And when things were so tough with making the decisions, you always prioritize keeping our students safe, our teachers safe, the employees safe, which in turn kept families safe. So thank you for doing that. I know that wasn't an easy decision. I also was in tears when the announcement came that we were getting this historic investment in public schools. It was such an exciting time, and I think that you guys have done just a great job at trying to make sure that we prioritize getting the most bang for our buck. With that, I do have a few questions. I know that there was some enrollment dipped when when we saw COVID hit and some families were pulling their students out. With the projections for the next year, how have you all kind of altered those projections? Like, are we projecting that students, is enrollment back up now? Are we projecting that more families will be coming back since now, 12 to 15-year-olds are able to get the vaccine, and now that things are a little more steady?
Sure. Yeah, and thank you for that question, Council Lady. And that's going to be one of the most difficult projections that our enrollment forecasting department has ever done. As you said, we did see, I would say, a slight enrollment dip percentage-wise this current year. We saw the majority of that enrollment dip in the early grades, particularly in the incoming kindergartners, where we believe that families decided to either wait a year for kindergarten or to potentially do something else. We have seen an uptick in the number of homeschool students that were homeschooled this year that are planning to return to MNPS next year. So we are projecting an increase over the current year, but it is very difficult to project exactly what that's going to look like particularly without knowing the kindergarten numbers, because you don't have a baseline to go by when you're projecting kindergartners for the next year. And so we're hopeful that we're pretty close with our enrollment projections, but we are projecting an increase over what we see this year. And so we're hopeful that we're going to be fairly close to that number.
Thank you, and I apologize, I'm looking for the page. I can't find the page here, but, oh, you know what, actually, it was before the 26-page document. It was around page 3 or 4, there were some projections for some of the early learning centers, and I noticed that, here it is, page 4, Casa Azafran has a lower student projection than some of the other early learning centers, which, of course, would necessitate a lower budget than some of those other ones because they didn't have some of the positions that other ones would need with more students. Is there a reason why we see why that center has a lower projection? Is that just based on the number of families in the area that are needing early childhood care?
It's actually just based on capacity. Casa Azafran has a low capacity as far as the number of pre-K classrooms that they have in comparison to some of the others. Ross, for instance, previously was an elementary school, Ross Elementary in East Nashville. Avenetta Davis, Early Learning Center was previously Bordeaux Elementary School, so it has much more capacity. And then Cambridge, that was the previous Southeast Library site, and it has more capacity. So it's strictly relating to capacity with Casa Azafran.
Okay, thank you. And then on page 2, the first line item, the Student Support Services, the Executive Director position, that's a half FTE position. Are y'all like splitting that position? Is someone going to have, why is that going to be a half-time position? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask.
That position is actually, because we're expanding the amount of social emotional learning supports, we currently have a part-time position that's overseeing that current department. And so with the expansion of services, the need for the expansion in oversight and support is needed. And so that additional 0.5 is to be reflective of the needs and support and supervision given the additional 41 advocacy centers.
Okay, thank you. I was confused as to why it wasn't a whole position, but that makes sense if it's already a part-time that y'all are stepping up to full-time. And then with the advocacy centers, can you speak a little bit more about the services in the advocacy centers? And I want to kind of frame this question around something that I think there are a few different things that we hear, right? Like we hear a lot in the community about public safety, and people want to feel safe in their communities. And then we also hear people that will say, we want less funding for police, right? And then we look at social emotional learning for our students, and I know everyone's probably like, where's she going with this? So what we know as educators is when we provide these supports to our students, this can help keep our students out of the school to prison pipeline. This can help keep communities safe when we teach our students the skills that they need, how to handle altercations, how to respond to incidents like in a nonviolent way. We are able to, down the line, help keep our community safe, right? And that will also eventually have an impact on like public safety funding and things like that. So like investing in social emotional learning now, it pays off later on down the line financially, because these students that are now getting this really solid base, those students are now, kind of getting some skills to help them to become like these productive members of society. So can you speak to the investment in those advocacy centers? Like what exactly will be covered in those centers? Like what will they be doing?
Thank you, Councilmember, for that question, and have an opportunity to dive into the advocacy centers themselves. And I think it speaks directly to what you just described. It's about having proactive measures and supports in place on the ground in schools on a daily basis, so that we can teach the skills that we sometimes assume students are equipped with and come to school with around nonviolent responses, calming techniques, having a safe space and support for them to maximize their instructional time. And I will tell you, without the advocacy centers, sometimes what we will face, not sometimes, what we will face is the inability to be proactive around the training for our staff, because our coaches will be leading training with our staff members, because we want these practices to also be replicated inside the classroom as well. It delays the response that we need for our students, which ultimately will have an impact on student attendance and student achievement, and the focus time for our teachers on educating our students through their content areas. And so the advocacy centers will be calming spaces. They will be spaces where we can teach and equip students with tools in their toolbox around what to do to regulate, to resolve conflict, to advocate for themselves when needed, so that we can maximize that instructional time and make sure that we have less interruptions for instruction for that student and for all students who are being taught in their respective classrooms. And so those advocacy centers will be trained with various techniques and strategies to work with students. Students can be referred by the teacher, by a parent if there's something that we need to get ahead of, and we're going to be teaching our students how to self-identify when they need that additional support that will be on the ground in our schools. So this is not a district level support. This is in the school, safe space equipped with trained professionals to support our students with their social emotional learning, which we know will ultimately impact and increase their academic achievement.
Thank you so much for that. This is definitely going to be a game changer, and I love that you spoke to really teaching how to like transfer those skills and making sure the teachers have those skills as well, because we know that everyone kind of has a different level of what they the level of training that people have received sometimes is a little bit different. And I've seen situations where a teacher who does not know how to de-escalate a student in crisis, and how well-meaning individuals can then escalate, and, sometimes that is the police getting involved, students being arrested, versus people that know how to de-escalate those students, help them process those big emotions and big feelings, and ultimately result in the students staying safe, staying in the building, not leaving that building, not getting suspended, therefore they're able to attend classes the next day. So thank you so much for that. That's huge. My last two questions, I promise I'm close to the end. The support staff restructuring of the salary, if I understand correctly, you all are restructuring the salary for certificated teachers this year. Are you all looking at restructuring for support staff next year? Or is there a timeline when we think that restructuring may happen?
Yes, as you know, with my background, that's one of the priorities that I plan to implement for next year. It's a process, as people, as you know, taxpayers think that we have this wonderful pots of cash and we can just go to a tree and make our own money. We cannot do that. So we are looking to do a pay study for support staff, for the total support staff, and advocate with you. So hopefully we will have conversations within the community amongst you, continue what we did with Councilman Druffel and the rest of the Education Committee throughout the years, have an ongoing conversation, and just like we did with the teachers' pay study of what would it cost to invest into our employees to make sure that they're living a living wage, be able to invest in our children and have the time and energy to do that, and not worry about their living situation. And so that's something we committed to. We know it's a process. It's something that's not as uniform as when you do a teacher pay study scale, because you're not always comparing apples to apples as you would of a teacher, given the different roles that we have, given the size of our district. And so that's one of the main goals that we're looking going to the next fiscal year of how we really can explore that and make sure that we really do treat all employees with dignity and respect.
Thank you for that. Do you have like the average salary of support staff employees?
Yeah, we do not with us. We have, I think our Human Resources Department recently said we have 249 different types of support positions. And so you have, a large number of positions, some of which work 12 months, some of which work 10 months, some of which work 11 months, depending upon their duties and responsibilities. And so we don't have that, and it would be difficult to come up with something with the different work calendars that we have. So hopefully that's a good enough answer for you.
That's fair, because I see on document 3 where, the bus drivers, for example, are getting 196 paid days, but the bus monitors are at 194. ISS monitors, education assistants are all at 194, and then some of the clerks are at 200. So I definitely understand like the disparities there. For the teacher work calendar, how many days are they paid for?
They're paid for 201 days.
Okay. So I know there's some concern about, this is a personal concern that I have, but also we've received a lot of emails from support staff about the 7 instructional days, I believe it's 7 instructional days that teachers have that our support staff, especially paraprofessionals, but that our support staff don't have. And I think that there are kind of 2 different issues with that. Some of the lowest paid individuals, which I'm very thankful that they're now at least paid $15 an hour. So that is a huge, huge jump in equity. But the individuals that are on, the hourly pay scale, some of the lower paid individuals are at a deficit when they are not paid for the same amount of days as people that are paid more than them, being the teachers. But it also is a concern because they don't have that same level of training. I know there were so many days where we were having like these teacher in-service days and we were receiving just really valuable information on, whether that's how to, work with a student with disabilities, just various levels of information, and support staff didn't have that because they were not paid for those days. So when they come back, we may be trying to summarize a day training in 10 minutes to just say, hey, these are some highlights, and it provides just this deficit. So again, not only is it a financial deficit, but it's also a deficit in their training. So can you all speak to that at all? And, is there a reason why that wasn't addressed in this budget? Or, is there some type of way that we can address that in the budget to help help support that. I believe it's $1.4 million that would be needed to address that.
Sure. I'll kick it off with this answer and then turn it over to Dr. Battle. A number of the 10-month positions, they're based on the student calendar, and you can see from that document number 3 that we begin with the number of student days, and then from there look at the number of days needed for orientation, training, and administrative duties. And so it's something that we plan to sort of incorporate into our support pay study, is not only looking at the pay for different positions, whether they be exempt positions or non-exempt positions, but also looking at the number of days that different positions are needed. And as you said, it would make sense as we look at that for educational assistants to have a very similar work calendar to teachers, particularly as it relates to professional development and training that they can receive. But that would need to also be we would also need to look at all other positions that are 10-month to see, what is, because a number of these positions, the number of paid days, they've stayed the same for a number of years. We have fortunately been able to make a positive adjustment to the educational assistants as far as their pay grade goes a few years ago. But as far as the actual work calendar, that's something that needs to be reviewed, and that could be folded into that support pay study that we just talked about.
And I think Mr. Henson did hit on the major points in response to your question, Council Member. I will also point to our aspirational budget as part of our employee compensation aspirational strategies. We did include a strategy around increased support days, and that amount being included. I know many of you have attended some of those town hall meetings we've had to walk through those strategies and the impact that those days can have for our support employees. Now, one celebration of success here, some movement we've been able to create. Of course, we are launching our largest ever summer school experience on June 7th, and we are including 24 days for the 4 weeks of that summer program for support employees. And so that's one way that we've started to address this need. We've also worked closely with our support employees and our certificated employees around our calendar. That was the first concern or gap that was there that we had an opportunity around, and so we've made significant progress around how the calendar is also balanced to address support employee pay. But to your point, we did have a strategy, a power strategy, if you will, around our aspirational budget for increasing support employee days.
Thank y'all so much again. I think y'all do just an amazing job, and I appreciate everything that you all do. And I would love to work with you all. Ms. Peters, Ms. Frida, I would love to work with you all to see if we could find a way to figure this out for that support staff, because I think that's going to be huge. So thank you again for your time.
Councilman Cash.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. I am excited for y'all. This is going to be a great year. And as you know, I was a teacher in MNPS for 25 years. And not only was I a teacher, but I was one of those folks that was a part of pushing for better teacher pay and better funding through MNEA and through rounding up people in my building to send emails and go to meetings. So I don't think there's been this good of a year for improving teacher pay since the 90s when Helen McMacken was president of MNEA. And I remember that year, like standing out on Hillsborough Road. I was at Hillsborough then with signs, getting people to honk, and it successfully got a really good, like a 6% teacher pay, which I don't think we've seen something that high since then. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the expenditures in social emotional learning. I every once in a while fear that, it's sometimes in education we have these trends that are important for a little while and then fade away and are replaced by some new fad. And I really hope that this shift in how we manage and direct student behavior is one, and kind of looking at the relationships that teachers have with students and how they manage that behavior and direct students to make wise choices. I really hope that is not a fad and it is a culture shift. So I'm glad that you're making that a priority and making good expenditures in that. Are the advocacy center positions certificated or classified?
Classified.
Okay, thanks. And I'm assuming that they are going to get good trainings and be ready with good strategies to help those kids. I know that many kids, as we are leaving the COVID era, hopefully, I know that there are many kids, many families who are able to choose virtual learning next year. And I know that unlike this year, they're going to be with the virtual school and not members of their own zoned or chosen school. I guess I'm wondering if that's going to create a difficulty in staffing. Are you going to have to move people out of buildings to teach virtually? Or do you have any sense of what percentage of families next year are going to choose virtual and how staffing might be impacted?
Sure, I can speak to that briefly. So the fortunate thing for Metro Nashville Public Schools is that we've had our MNPS virtual school inside our district for over 10 years now. And so what we're focused on doing is expanding the MNPS virtual school options for grades 4 through 12 going into next year. Those students will be students of the MNPS virtual school and not the current school that they might be transitioning from. To date, we are planning for less than 400 students thus far who have signed up and opted into the virtual school for this upcoming school year. We do not anticipate, because we've tried to strategically plan and make appropriate investments in our virtual school and our zoned and traditional schools, for us not to have to shift staff. And so part of that shift, if you recall from this current school year, teachers were in a lot of ways responsible for virtual and in-person learning. And so we want to keep the mode of teaching and learning consistent for our students. And so our teachers will be assigned their roles based upon teaching in-person students in their current school assignment, or if they're in the MNPS virtual school, in the virtual environment. That does, however, include some adjunct teachers who have raised their hands and are interested in, outside of their normal teaching duties and responsibilities, to also support students virtually.
Okay, great, thanks. That number is less than I expected. So if there's a child who got accepted into a magnet school or a choice school or open enrollment school, did they have to make the choice to attend that school, or could they do a semester of virtual and then still keep their enrollment in that optional school the second semester?
So going into the next school year, families and students will have to make a decision on their school of attendance. We are creating some flexibilities within our MNPS virtual school structure that if families or students opt out of the virtual experience after the first semester, they will have the option to go back to their zone school and or enter the choice process again. Okay. But part of us holding our zone schools harmless and all of our non-traditional schools harmless means that we have to ensure that they have the resources and the staffing to support the students that they're currently serving or will be serving at the start of the school year.
Right, that's exactly why I was asking about the impact of those families making those choices. I think Councilmember Porterfield covered it really well, but I agree with everything she said and asked about the support staff, and certainly, at the very least, think those paraprofessionals and teaching assistants need the same training that teachers do, and I think that's really important for that reason, for the education of students, and they don't make as much. So if there are opportunities for them to earn a better living, then I am supportive of that as well. So I'd like she said, I'd love to see if we can talk and figure out how to fix that part of it. I'm going to ask about something that's kind of small, but I'm curious about it, and in asking about this one specific thing, I kind of want to learn a little bit more about the process of purchasing and engaging in consulted services, outside consulted services. My daughter went to West End Middle last year, and I thoroughly loved it. Struggled a little bit with virtual, but really enjoyed the 4 years of school that she had there. But in the past year, every Friday afternoon, I get a text from POSSIP. And it basically asks me two questions. Three questions. Number one, like how I feel about the school this week. Is it good or bad, or just some basic like descriptor? And then they ask me if I want to give my name, and they ask me if there's anything else I want to say. And as somebody who spent, like, I was a consulting teacher for 5 years, and like was basically the data coach in my school, and explained data to teachers and to my administration and to parents. And I also was the chair of the re-accreditation committee twice in my career. Like, I really question whether that tool is, and maybe other schools are putting out different questions, but I really question the quality of what can be gleaned from those basic questions that were asked. So I kind of want to ask, I was curious, and I kind of looked it up, and I found in the budget, or in the school board agenda and minutes where that was approved. And you know, when I'm looking at that, I see that sometimes when you all engage in, like, the school board approves contracts or services, sometimes it says how much the contract is for, and sometimes there's a page after that that kind of goes into a little more detail about it, and sometimes there's not. Why is that? Why is it sometimes we can see how much the contract is for and sometimes we can't?
Sure, and I'll attempt to answer that question, Councilman. All of our board agendas have contract summaries within the agenda packets, and every one of those contract summaries has an amount. Typically, it's either a flat amount if it's a purchase, or if it's a multi-year contract, then it could be a not-to-exceed amount. So every one of those should have, and I don't remember ever being seeing one that didn't have the compensation as part of that contract summary that the board would approve on any contract that exceeds $25,000. So happy to go back and take a look at that particular item and see what the compensation would be.
I looked, it was like the January 26th meeting of this year, I think, and I didn't see, I looked twice, and I could be missing it because there were a number of subsequent pages. But, and like, I don't mean to be overly critical about POSSIP specifically, but I would ask them to beef it up a little bit with the questions. Can schools ask for specific questions, or really do they? Do you know if POSSIP goes out from the school level or the district level?
The questions that go out to our parents, of course, it is an effort to make sure that we are connecting with our families and we can be responsive immediately if there are needs throughout the week. But it is a district level set of questions that go out. But on occasion, you probably saw some different questions that were added on at the end, and those are based upon feedback that we're getting, or if a school makes a specific request to add an additional question to get very specific feedback based upon the occurrences of the week.
Okay. Well, I never said no that I'm not happy, so maybe they would have contacted me if I had. But also, after the 3 questions that I get, there was a link to look at the national answers to the questions and how but I never got anything back about here's how your school feels or here's how the district feels. It was all national data. And so any contracts that you're going to engage in, like those for the upcoming school year, are in this budget, or do sometimes those things come up in the middle of the year that you have to make requests for? Or I don't know if I asked that well, but.
No, I think I understand your question. Any potential contract, we have in our contracted services line item on that 26-page document, it's line item 0.9, where it says contracted services. Of course, there very well could be things that come up during the year that were unforeseen, that we would need to make some adjustments, and we have those on occasion, but typically our budget owners, as I call them, are good at projecting out what's needed for the next fiscal year. But of course, there are always surprises, particularly in an organization as large as ours is.
Sure, thanks. And if you could let me know, follow up on, like, I didn't see that in there, so if you could help me after, like, in the next week or so, send me a little more information about that and how much we're spending on POSSIP. Thank you. really excited for you, and I want to add before I pass it on to somebody else that I'm really excited that Mayor Cooper prioritized teachers and schools in his budget. I do want to remind everybody that part of this is possible because some of us last year stuck our necks out, and a good number of us stuck our necks out and made a controversial choice to increase funding, increase taxes, and that sacrifice that we made is one of the reasons that we're able to do this, and I'm excited that we're in better shape and able to fund our schools better, and that Mayor Cooper has made it a top priority, as he should. Thank you.
To let everyone know who's in the queue, I have Councilwoman Sepulveda, Councilwoman Hurt, Councilwoman Benedict, Councilman Bradford, and then Councilwoman Allen. Councilwoman Sepulveda.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me, even though I am not on this committee. And thank you all for being here today. I really do appreciate all the work you do. For those of you that don't know, I'm a product of our public school system. I was in our schools from kindergarten through 12th grade, so I know that it's really hard to do the work you need to do to help our students when you are not being fully funded, but you all made it work this whole time, and it's an experience I wouldn't trade for the world. So I do have a couple of questions. I just wanted some clarifications. The salaries that are listed, is that including benefits?
Which particular document?
So I'm looking at document 4, document 5. It's like, for example, under principal, it's listed 143,000. As an example, is that including benefits?
Yes, it would be. That would be total position cost, so that would be salary plus all benefits.
Okay, thank you. I have a question about Spanish emergent schools. I know we currently have one, if I'm not mistaken, Glenview Elementary. And so my question is there a plan to open up more programs similar to that in our Metro Public Schools, specifically in South and Southeast Nashville, where we have large numbers of native speakers and that aren't being reached well enough? And I know that is something I have heard in my district quite a bit, and so I'm curious to know if that is something you all have planned for the future.
Thank you, Councilmember. I'll attempt to respond to your question. So that would be Glendale Elementary School. That's in our southwest quadrant. The good news here is that we have launched an initiative you've likely heard about titled Metro Schools Reimagined. Part of that work is to do a deep dive into all of our clusters across the district to make sure that we have clear pathways for our students and families. So a family who chooses Glendale Elementary also has a pathway into middle school, into high school, and for us to assess the need in expanding any specific pathways or programs across the district. And so that's the work of Metro Schools Reimagined. We started that work last school year in the west quadrant. We've moved now into northwest, and the next area that we're focused on are our south quadrants, southeast and southwest. And so as we're doing that deep dive, we're looking at shoring up those pathways of success for our students and expanding programs and services based upon the needs and successes of our students.
So that's just through that one school, correct?
I'm sorry, could you repeat your question?
So that program is leading everyone towards that one school, correct?
Currently, we have one Spanish immersion school, which is Glendale Elementary School.
Okay. So, and again, to reiterate, it's because I keep hearing that we don't have something closer to where we have the largest population of native Spanish speakers. So I guess my second question now is, how many of those students currently in that elementary school are native Spanish speakers?
if we have the number. We'll have to get that number to you. We can follow up and get that exact number to you.
Great, thank you. And I guess I'm just going to encourage you all to take a look at that and consider another expansion or school to try and, have something closer to Southeast Nashville, specifically near, right off of Nolensville somewhere, since we do have the largest Hispanic population in the city. And we want to make sure that we are reaching some of our native speakers. I know that's something I would have loved to participate in. My next question is regarding training for our teachers regarding, I don't know if you're calling it ESL or ELL at this point. I know that I was in the ELL program. I don't remember what it was called back then, because I was born in this country, but English wasn't my first language. And so I participated in that program. And in elementary school, it was one thing because we were all in a classroom together. But as we move into our higher grades, I experienced some new students who had just immigrated who didn't have the ability to fully comprehend. And I know that that is something that when touring some of the schools, they have brought up where they would love to have more training to actually deal and teach some of these new arrivals to our metro school system. But there's not enough funds to have some of these programs available to teachers. So if you all could speak a little to that, and I'm curious to know if there's any plans to fund a program such as that.
So first off, we have a phenomenal English language department in Metro Nashville Public Schools. I'm proud of the work that they're doing under the direction of Molly Hedgewood. And part of the approach that her team takes is to provide district-level supports for all of our staff. One of the board's priorities that was approved for this year was around academic and social-emotional learning integration. One of the specific strategies was to increase our English learner teacher certifications. That's where we've received the most feedback from our staff, that to accompany the professional development that our EO department provides to all of our staff, that they would like to get the additional certifications and training to support all of our wonderful students. And so we did have a very specific strategy to increase the level of certification opportunities for our staff. Again, another piece of good news here is that through some of our ESSER funds that we have allocated directly to our schools, many of our schools are investing in the opportunity for our teachers to sign up for the certifications and for those certifications to be covered through their student-based budgeting process. And so that is a strategy that we have prioritized to continue to build the capacity of our team to meet the needs of all of our students.
Great, I am happy to hear that. Those are all my questions. Thank you so much.
Councilwoman Hurd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I, too, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Even though I'm not on budget and finance, I am on education. And everybody's giving these introductory statements about being in public schools. My kids went to MNPS schools. I didn't. I went to Shelby County schools. But I went every day. I had perfect attendance for 12 years.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So yes, I'm kind of I'm kind of hard, I think, when it comes to schools and kids these days, because, you know, if you want to do it, you have to. So, looking at your budget, and this may sound it may not make much sense, but looking at your budget, what you give to operate a traditional versus a non-traditional magnet, charter, academies, etc., where are you getting the most bang for your buck and why? Does that make sense?
I'll take a shot at this, responding
Okay.
to this question. So when you look at how we allocate funds to our schools, regardless if they're a zone school or non-traditional schools, so forth, one of the greatest bangs for us, if you will, is through our student-based budgeting process. This is really nationally known, the way that we use our student-based budgeting process, and it's because we provide a base amount per student, and then the rest of the weighting is based upon the needs of the students that are being served in the school. And that's something that we're very proud of. When we're looking through an equity lens, when we're looking at our economically disadvantaged students, when we're looking at our English learners, our exceptional education students, their needs they vary. And so we try to funnel our funds and align our strategies based upon the needs of our students. And so that's where we get the biggest bang for our investments. That is through our student-based budgeting process, because that process allows us to leverage those funds based upon the needs of the students being served.
Okay, thank you. Your board chair said the same thing. I'd like to move to minority contracting. When was the last time you all participated in a disparity study?
We are actually in the midst of Metro internal audit, looking at our procurement process, and part of that process is looking at our diversity business enterprise program, where we currently have a consultant, Gwen Sims, that has been working with us for a number of years on both our operating budget purchases as well as our capital and construction purchases. And so that will be part of that Metro internal audit that's ongoing now. So I'm not sure prior to that when the last time there was a study performed, but I know that is something that is in process.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you may not know whether your procurement spending is in proportion to the availability of businesses and those who are registered and certified in relevant areas. Because historically, MNPS has not had good numbers when it comes to minority contracting, if I'm going to be candid. So just asking.
I believe we do have that information. I believe that is one of the data points, one of the many data points that our consultant, Gwen Sims, provides to us. And so we can look to see what information that we can provide. But that is something that we pay close attention to through our procurement process. We monitor those statistics on a monthly basis as far as what is our DBE spend as a percentage of our total spend. And our procurement office monitors that each month.
So do you happen to know who your top 3 vendors are?
Not off the top of my head, but I can get you that fairly quickly.
Okay. And with that, can you tell me if they are held to the standard of procurement of diversity and inclusion? And that's really key and important, especially to me, because I'm a very pragmatic person, and I like, it is just about intention. You got to be deliberate and intentional about what it is that you do. And I don't think it's really that hard. And even when you don't have minority contractors who have the ability to be your prime contractor, you make sure that they become a subcontractor. And if they are new, you help build the capacity in order for them to be able to do it. Because when you look at the population of your students, I think it would be really nice for them to see those who are working in the schools and doing those things that they have some relationship with them.
And Councilwoman Herbert, I think it's been the will and discussions on the board to have a deeper commitment to equity and inclusion. As you know, I was here working in the mayor's office when we did the study here in Metro government. And one of my goals long-term was to bring that to Metro schools as my job as an elected official, as a member of board. Unfortunately, we had a pandemic happen. And so a lot of things that I think we, as board members, really want to dig into, we couldn't because we had the emergency at hand to deal with. But I could say as the will of the board, we have a committed to equity inclusion. And as my experience working on Metro government side, what does that look from a governing side, mostly behind the scenes, outside the classroom? So I can say you have my commitment that during my 4 years of my term, that this is something that I hope to dig into more in time and depth as we kind of recover from the pandemic and get back to a normal place where we can look at behind the scenes of procurement process, governing process, budgeting process, to make sure that we can model what we did on the Metro government side now that we're coming out of this.
Right. And this is not a question, well, I guess it is a question, especially those who are in stocks and all of that, because I really want to invest into eyeglasses, eyewear, because these kids have been looking at these computers all year long, and they're gonna need some glasses. So I need somebody to tell me what I need to do to invest, you know, even if it's $5 or $10, to invest in some glassware. But I do encourage you all to make sure you get students tested for their vision because of the same reason. Thank you.
Councilwoman Benedict.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So most of my colleagues have said a lot of what I want to say. First of all, thank you so much. You've been a fabulous leader. The board has been a fantastic leaders as well. You've created an environment of stability and, most importantly, an environment of trust. That's a very important thing to the 80,000 constituents that you have. The one thing that I wanted to touch base on is that in the presentation, you have aspirational goals. And as I look at the aspirational goals, so let me back up. I'm first going to do what I do worst, which is try to be brief. So, as my colleagues here know, when I look at the in particular with SEL, you know, $2.5 million is great. When I look at the aspirational goal, it's 10 times that amount. It's $26.6 million. I know that you're going to take care of 10 out of 10 kids, but I want to make sure that the public understands and that this body understands that we're funding 10% of what we really need to provide our kids. But I am in full support of the budget that's been put in front of us, and I hope that we are able to, in the chair substitute, as we work on as we have those working sessions, to see what we may be able to do to improve that so that we can reach the needs of all of our kids. Again, I know you're going to hit 10 out of 10 with the 2.5, but if we can improve upon that, you'll be able to do even more. So I wanted to just speak to call out that the aspirational goals in total, I believe, are about $48 million. That's roughly 2% of the entire city budget. I want to see what we can do to do that. Because when we talk about fully funding schools, hitting our aspirational goals is fully funding the schools. So I'm a huge proponent of you and all the work that you're doing. I don't guess that I have any questions, so I'm going to stick with my original statement, and I'm going to stop right now. Thank you so much.
Councilman Bradford.
Thank you, Chair. So several of my questions have already been asked and answered already. There's one I do want to follow up on for some clarification. So it was about using federal funding for textbooks, and the comment was made that using that federal money, you'll be able to get all the books you need. I just want to clarify, by saying by the books we need, it means every child in Metro schools will be able to have a textbook and not sharing one per classroom. Is that what you meant by textbooks that you need?
And I'll speak to that. And just to make sure everybody understands, there are varying subject matter adoptions each year. And so some years are a very expensive year, like particularly like English language arts adoption is an expensive year. Mathematics adoption is an expensive year. And each of those subject areas typically are on a 6-year cycle. And so some years, as I mentioned, there's a much greater need for funding for textbooks than other years, just depending upon the subject area that's in that particular cycle. Our plan is for all of our students to have all of the textbooks that they need through the use of federal ESSER funding for instructional materials and supplies. And as far as I know, that's where we'll be. I don't know if, Dr. Battle, if you have anything else.
Yes, and I'll speak to the adoption cycle. So this first cycle is around our ELA adoption, which we paused coming into this current school year due to the pandemic. And so our approach has been to purchase individual textbooks and resources for every student and every teacher. And I think we spoke to this earlier about the flexibility and being able to do that through our literacy adoption. We've been able to go ahead and purchase all of those materials for our teachers so they can start now with their planning and navigating the materials in preparation for the start of the school year. But this current ELA adoption is focused on purchasing those materials for every individual student. And then we're looking to leverage additional funds in the future around our math adoption, which is coming up next, and other core content areas.
Okay, so basically, as the cycle progresses, starting this year, the hope is as you hit each cycle, you'll be able to get enough books using federal funding to ensure every student has a textbook for that cycle, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. My next question is more, again, clarification. So on the first page, when we're talking about everything, it says charter school increase 15,078,300. And then on document 8, where you're talking about charter schools, now my understanding of how budgets look is when something's put in parentheses, that means it's a savings or a reduction in cost. So on document 8, under the FY22 increase for charter schools, it's showing the exact same figure, but it's showing it as a reduction. So I want to know if that was a typo, or can you clarify? Are we spending $15 million less this year for charter schools, or is it $15 million more?
It's 15 million more, and it's not a typo. The information that's shown is the estimated information for the next fiscal year, and that breaks down the funding allocation for each of the 27 district charter schools to get to that total amount, and then it compares it to the current year, fiscal year 21 amended budget, to get to the increase. I agree with you, it may look a little odd, but that's the way that it's being presented as far as current year, or actually the next fiscal year is being presented compared to the current year. And if you subtract the current year from the projection from next year, that it does show up as with parentheses around it, but it is an increase.
Okay, so we are increasing in charter school funding $15,078,300, basically.
That's our estimate for next year, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Allen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all so much for all the work you do and for getting us through last year. What an amazing feat. 2 questions. I was on the Chamber's Education Report Committee, which was a fantastic opportunity to get to watch how those virtual classes worked, and the teachers were just amazing in being able to engage students on a computer, and I was just so impressed with how they pulled it off. 2 of the things that we suggested were for y'all to create an aspirational budget, so I'm just so pleased that y'all have done that now consistently for 2 years in a row so that we can all see what our kids really need, and hopefully we'll get closer and closer to being able to fully meet that for you. And also to continue to support SEL, just being able to see how important that is for students. My question is, our focus for that report was how in the world we move on from last year. And one of the things was, what did we learn that was good that we can keep doing? And I think we learned that it probably is great for every student to have access to a laptop. Is there money in this budget to be able to continue to provide those for students? Or is that a capital question? And if so, is there money in the capital budget to do that?
Typically, as you know, the funding of technology for MNPS has come from capital funding. In this latest capital spending plan, there was not anything included for technology on the heels of the city providing $24 million to MNPS for that purpose, as well as the school district utilizing some of our federal ESSER funds as well. And so the hope is that we would have additional capital funding to be able to continue on a refresh cycle, so that we're on basically a 3-year cycle of replacement. And so we've got that as a request. We'll continue to be looking at our own ESSER funding also, and how that ESSER funding will be applied for to the Tennessee Department of Education and ultimately, hopefully approved. And so we'll be looking at a combination and all sources of funding to be able to continue to refresh those machines, to be able to get on a cycle so that both students and teachers have current technology and current devices.
Great, great. It just seems to have been really beneficial. And then secondly, one of the things that we saw that seemed like a potential win in the long run was the ability for students that perhaps currently have not, or in the past have not had access to things like AP classes because their school only had 2 students that needed it. But now there's this opportunity to combine schools in issues like that, which I know you don't want to do the hybrids of virtual and in-person, but to me that seemed like such a real benefit to be able to offer to students. That was one of the things in the report that we hoped would be a consideration. Is that something that's included in this budget or considered or possible in future budgets?
I'll speak specifically to our partnership with Nashville State Community College under our umbrella of Better Together. This is one of our uniform strategies that we've built out under that work. So several years past, we committed to paying for the challenge exams for our students in those advanced placement courses, which we do plan to continue through the investment of our continuity of operations budget. And we're also looking to leverage the successes, as you've mentioned, around being able to be more creative and innovative of offering those courses to students all across the district. And so that continuity of operations allows us to continue to offer the dual enrollment courses, the dual credit courses for our students across the district, regardless of the school that they're enrolled in.
So that would come under the umbrella of the partnership with Nashville State. Great, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gamble.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. Battle, and all the school board members for your outstanding leadership, particularly during this last very challenging year. I'm so pleased with the mayor's proposed budget. I'm so pleased about the investment in the advocacy centers. You mentioned that you have a robust summer school program this year, which will be great to help our students who maybe fell behind in their learning as a result of the pandemic. Is there anything in this budget for after-school tutoring once school resumes in the fall, going through the rest of the school year, that we can look forward to as well?
I'll speak to that question in 2 ways, Council Member. The first way is, again, as we think about our continuity of operations, if it's been a program of service or support that we offered this school year, we have the investments to continue to offer those supports because we're not facing budget cuts this year. And so we are truly looking at expanding those supports, which is a great place to be. I just cannot underscore just how grateful we are to be in that position. Mayor, Council, Robert, I see you sitting in the back, just all the coordination that came around those efforts and recognizing public education and what we should be providing for our students in Nashville. The other part of that question is, as we're leveraging our ESSER funds as we move forward, I think this is the opportunity for me to share that those funds are non-recurring, and so we have to be very cautious about creating funding cliffs. So we're looking for strategic ways that we can advance and accelerate outcomes for our students that will not push us off that cliff in a few years. Our expanded extended day programs, learning opportunities is a way that we can do that. We allocated through ESSER 2 funds about a little under $25 million to our schools for them to be able to program for those specific programs and services. And so our goal is to continue that spiral to our schools, because it is our belief that our school communities know their communities best. And so as they're thinking about the very specific needs of our students, whether they be on the academic end, whether they be on building English language learners capacity, or meeting the exceptional needs of our exceptional education students, schools are equipped with the funds to build those programs and are encouraged to do so based upon the opportunities that are there and the gaps that we're trying to close.
All right, we are at time. I'm scanning the room for last-minute hands. I did have a question. The schools that were recently closed due to being under capacity, are there any plans to repurpose those buildings? And when will that occur?
Yes, we plan to have community meetings. We also want to have the community input coming in. Forgive me, I don't know the dates off the top of my head. I know they're in the fall, mostly in September. But we really are want to be thoughtful about how we use those buildings, the purpose of those buildings, given that they are public buildings, they belong to the taxpayers, and how we can use community input. I know we have some, particularly near your district and in District 1, that are concerned about development, of course, going in. But we want to be very thoughtful and very intentional on what that happens, whether it's community centers, whether it's nonprofits coming in, whether we can leverage them as hubs for staff to be closer to students and closer to schools, where they do not have to come downtown and fight the traffic, to have access to resources that the school has. So that's something that we want community involvement. It was a tough decision, a decision we didn't like to do, but we found that was necessary to be good steward of taxpayers' dollars and to make sure, more importantly, we can leverage the most resources for our children in the maximum capacity of being in a very concentrated environment. And so hopefully we would love to have your engagement. I know myself, the other school board members, we have Emily Masters, part of our advocacy team, will be reaching out to you to get your input of what that looks like. But we want to be very intentional that we still use it for education, whether it's adult students or the community be a part of that, and that we still are filling our purpose of educating the community.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Battle and Board Member Player Peters and Mr. Henson and everyone else for your time and coming out to answer our questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.